Manic depression, he said. It's bipolar disorder, and there's nothing I can do about it. Some people may think it's a relief to know what's making me crazy, but that's just it. I'm still crazy whether I have a diagnosis or not. I suppose I should introduce myself. I'm told that's what I'm supposed to do. My name is Sarah. I'm 22 years old, and I live at home with my mother. I try not to get discouraged about this fact, but truth be told, I think it's pathetic. I'm like a little girl, still dependent on her mother for income, love, and companionship. On top of that, I can't even think about having a legitimate relationship of any kind. It seems she's the only one who can tolerate me, and sometimes I think the only reason she does is because she feels a sense of motherly obligation. My father left us shortly after I was diagnosed. I suppose he just couldn't take it. Every time one of my mood episodes came about, he would disappear and leave my mother to deal with them herself. I can't help but feel guilty, although my mother says I shouldn't. If it wasn't one thing, it would have been another, she always tells me. My manic episodes tend to last for at least a week, sometimes two. I feel so odd when I'm on one, as if I can do anything, establish myself in anything. I can be who I want to be, or in the simplest of terms, I can find out who I am. I struggle with that. Identity? I don't know how to define myself, or where to begin to try. I suppose those who are considered normal define themselves by their job, their education, their partner, or even their favorite movies and music. The thing is, I don't have any of those things. The only thing I identify with is bipolar 1. The first 2 weeks after I began lithium were among the worst of my life. I felt tired and just generally sick. After it started to take its real effect, I didn't feel right. I had had trouble deciding who I was before, but now it was as if I was separate from me, not my true self. I felt further away and more confused than ever. I had trouble talking to everyone, including my mother, and I was just about ready for it to end. My third hospital admission in 6 months followed soon after. Tennessee Williams once wrote, "Hate is a feeling that can only exist when there is no understanding." And I can't say I disagree. Perhaps if I understood myself a little better, I wouldn't hate me so much. I have heard people say that self-hatred is nothing but a cliche, and I would guess that those people have never experienced it truly. The worst of it is when I get into depression, I don't want to eat, think, or see anyone. All I'm motivated to do is sleep, and still that brings very little relief. My mom is a nervous wreck when I'm like this, and I usually find myself in the hospital because of her constant fear. I hate the hospital more than anything. The staff, although they're nice, seem to think that being medicated solves all my problems. The truth is, I believe it makes them worse. Nobody seems to care how horrible I feel, and it's hard for me to trust them enough to really tell them. So, there is an account of my life as I know it. Living with bipolar disorder isn't exactly a breeze, but I am slowly learning to manage. One day, I hope to be a writer, with a family and a home to call my own. Until then, I'll have to see where life takes me, one day at a time.
There is a time and place for one more sweet embrace, and there's a time, when it all, went wrong. I guess you know by now that we will meet again somehow. How, oh baby, how